Hey, good morning. Welcome back. So today's video is going to be centered around military compensation with a focus on BAH difference, right? Basic allowance housing difference. If you don't know what that is, you should probably do some research online. You can go to defense.gov and it will lay it all out for you, right? So BAH diff is an entitlement that is there to support you in your time of need, right? Unlike some service members, some people in the military people are not immune to fractures of the family. What I mean by that, you'll go through a divorce while you're in the military. If you're doing military, you still go through the same divorce. But in the midst of all that calamity, you got the little ones. So with that little ones, it depends on who's taking on majority of the kids. It could be 50%, 50%, or it could be 75, 25, who knows? But with all that said and done, eventually one of the two will be court ordered to pay child support. So if you're court ordered to pay child support, that's when BAH diff comes into play, right? In my situation, multiple years ago, right, I was in Korea. And I went through a fracture of the family. It was traumatizing. It was difficult, but I was able to get through it. But I ran into a good friend. But most importantly, that's where I met Hadia, right? Hadia is a finance officer, and she was telling me about BAH diff. I was not aware about BAH diff and the entitlements that it dispersed, right? She told me that, hey, BAH diff helps you with your court-ordered child support pay, right? And I was like, no, it doesn't. But come to find out, it does in some circumstances. Now, if you're paying $1,000, right? Yeah, BAH diff, it's only going to give you a portion of that depending on your rank, right? So you may find yourself getting an extra $200, $285, maybe $300, depending on your rank. Up to, when I seen online, it was up to $344, but I think that's like depending on your rank and you're going through some situations in your family. But ultimately, as you progress in the military, you're starting to bring in more income. You should be able to pay that child support, right? So if you look at it as my child support bill is $1,000, the government gives me $250. I'm only paying out $750 child support. So it's good to have some type of relief on the back end, even though it may not be relief. But most importantly, if you're going through the situation, man, go to your local finance office, fill out the information with finance about trying to get BAH diff. Look online, go to militarypaydefense.gov, look online, do your homework, do your research, because this entitlement is there for you. And you could be just missing out on help, right, from Uncle Sam. You're already serving with him. You go through a financial stress, you go through a financial fracture, or you go through a fracture of the family, and sometimes you don't think nobody has your back. But once you do your digging, looking in regulations, do your research, you realize that every little bit helps, right? So understanding BAH diff is very important. Understanding BAH is very important. Now, if you're in a situation where first and foremost, BAH diff is only if you're paying child support, right? If you're paying alimony, yeah, BAH diff will not work for you. So don't try it. Uncle Sam will come back and get that money. So don't do any sneaky things, right? Because you don't want to owe Uncle Sam and you don't want to owe back a rearage of your child support. All these things could land you in some hot water and maybe land you in jail, which you don't want that. But most importantly, for all service members out there, and do your research, man. If you're in a situation where you're paying child support and you need some assistance or you need some relief, like I said, go to your finance office, understand what BAH diff is, and seek help, right? Put in the paperwork. Make sure you get everything signed. And I'm thinking about 30 to 45 days after everything is processed in finance, you should start to see that entitlement reflect on your LES. So it will categorize itself. It'll show itself. It'll separate itself from all your pay, your entitlements. Yeah. If you're getting family SEP, if you're getting family SEP, it'll say family SEP. But if you're getting BAH, it'll say BAH. If you're getting BAH diff, it will say BAH diff on your LES. So it will be clear as day. And most importantly, go hunt down this information. I know I'm sharing it with you. You can also go on militarypaydefense.gov, and the information is there for you. So even if you don't take my word at it, look online, because it's up to you to get and harness all the information to arm yourself for when you go through these struggles, you're better prepared.